Hello everyone, and look what I've got for you to make today. This is called a wriggle blanket. A wriggle blanket. You can also use these as rugs. When I was making this, I thought, this would make a really good rug for along your bedside if you made a long enough one. Now, this is more for adults and maybe toddler sized children. I would not use this to cover a very small child. It will be too warm. It's quite thick and it's really quite warm. So make sure that if you do this, don't do them for very small babies. You can make it as a play mat for a small baby just to lay on the top of it, but don't cover a very small baby with this. But look at this, it is so pretty. It's so pretty. You can use up all your scrap yarn with this. This is the other side of the blanket. That's the flip side of it, and you can see where I think it would make a good rug. If you stitch some non-slip matting onto the back of that, this would make a really nice rug for alongside of your bed, down the side where your bath is or your shower, or in a nursery, and it would make a fabulous play mat as well if you made a nice big square one with all your scraps of yarn, all your scrap balls of yarn. You could make this as a play rug for small toddlers, and it doesn't take too long to do, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, for absolute beginners, do a chain. Now, you need to do your first stitch, and I do it with what's called a slip knot. You just take the tail end of your yarn, wrap it around two of your fingers, right around to this side here. Take this end and tuck it under. Just tuck it under like that, so you've got a little loop. Catch hold of the little loop, take your fingers out, and then just pull. Put it over your hook and just tighten it down onto your hook. Keep it up here. Every time you make a stitch, pull through your yarn, bring that stitch back up to this part of your shaft so that it makes the proper size stitch. For this little sample, I'm going to do 20 stitches. I'm going to chain 20 stitches. So you pull your stitch through, yarn over your hook, and just pull it through that previous stitch. Never count the stitch that's sitting on your hook. Always count the ones that you've done. So we've done 1, 2, 3. I'm going to do 20. You do as many as you want for the size of blanket that you're making. So I've done 34 stitches on my chain. What you're going to do is we're going to work into the 5th chain. We're going to work into the 5th loop of this chain. Don't count that stitch. Don't count that one. You're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Those 4 stitches will become your first treble crochet and 1 chain. That will explain itself in a little minute. So put your yarn over and go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go into your 5th link in your chain. Catch your yarn and pull it through, and you've got 3 loops on your chain. Put your yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. Now that little chain of 4 that's here becomes your first treble crochet and 1 chain space, and it makes a little box. You're going to chain 1, skip the next stitch, skip that next stitch there, and treble crochet into the next stitch. Yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, chain 1. Remember that, chain 1. Skip a stitch, treble crochet into the next stitch. If you're in the USA, this is a double crochet. Through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. Chain 1, skip the next stitch in your chain, yarn over, through the next one. We're going to do this all the way to the end. So I've got to the end of my little sample and I've got all my little chain 1 treble crochet spaces. When you get to the end, you're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. And this is what you're going to repeat until the blanket is the size that you want. We're going to treble crochet into this treble crochet here. You're going to skip the chain space. So 1 treble crochet into there. Chain 1, skip the chain space, and we're going to be always working into the top of these treble crochets. Remember to do your chain 1. It's the chain 1 that creates the space. Yarn over and through the top of that stitch. Chain 1, skip the chain space and work into the top of your next treble crochet. That's a double crochet if you're in the USA. Chain 1 and along to the next one, all the way to the end. And when you get to the end, you're going to work into the 3rd stitch on this chain. So remember, these were the ones that we missed at the very beginning. So you're going to count 1, 2 and 3. You're going to work into the 3rd loop on that chain of 4 into the top of the 3rd one, and that creates your little box space for the end. So you're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4 and turn. And we're just going to repeat what we just did. Going into the, skip the space, treble crochet into the top of that treble crochet there, chain 1, skip the space, treble crochet, chain 1, skip the space, and when you get to the end, again you're going to count 1, 2, 3 and work into that 3rd one, and that'll make your little box at the end. And you keep doing that until your blanket is as big as you need it. So I've got my mesh done. I'm going to do the part that's all wriggly and standing up, and I'm going to use this. This is by Woolcraft. It's a new fashion and I got this donated to me. This was in the bag that I got from Susan. So I'm using this double knitting Woolcraft, and it's really quite soft as well, and it's quite thickish. It just said its shade is 6F20. There's no other name for this colour, but I got it donated to me and I'm going to use it for this little wriggle blanket. And now a lot of people are calling these wriggle blankets. So they are just like the wave that I put on a lot of my baby hats. So I'm going to start in the corner. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to wriggle back and forward. I mean, on your, don't worry too much if when you make your mesh you've got the odd, if it's like a little sort of stretchy looking and things like that. This has been getting pulled around. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work my way down and along and up and along and down. Then you can go along and down and along and along and up and along. You can just wriggle your way along the blanket. You can just wriggle back and forward like a snake, and then when you get to the end you just come down the way and you work like a snake back and down, like the letter U and the letter N, the letter U and the letter N. But I found it so much better and more random if you just wriggle your way around your mesh. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a treble crochet. In the USA, that's a double crochet. So I'm just going to put my yarn through and I'll do one stitch. I'm going to drop my tail and do one more stitch to get my, that's going to keep my tail all locked in there. Do one more chain. So that's giving me a chain of 3, and I'm going to put 3, sometimes 4. It's up to you to either you can use 3 treble crochets or you can use 4. Every now and then in the cross section I'm going to put a treble crochet just so that I don't have this white area showing through. It's so much fun, but it does use quite a bit of yarn. So yarn over and working down this way, that chain's going to count as my first treble crochet, and that's my second. So that one is my third. So I'm just going to kind of turn my mesh that I've got. So remember, I did show you how to make this little mesh square. So yarn over, and what we're going to do is, that is coming down that side there. I'm going to work across. So just nip your nip your blanket part and just wriggle around. So that's 1, 2, and 3. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to go down this way. So just go 1, 2, and 3. So I think we'll work across this way, but I'm going to put 1 into this sort of cross section. I'm going to put a treble crochet into there. I don't want that big white gap on it, so I'll put 1 into there, and then I'll put my 3 along here. 1, 2, and 3. This is a good way to get rid of all your scrap yarn. You can just do this in all different colours. You don't need to stick to the one colour, but this is a beautiful shade of blue. It's a beautiful shade of blue. So I've done my 3 that way, so you can get the picture of what we're going to be doing. We're going to be wriggling around. So what we'll do now is, we've done that post, we'll come down that way, so just give it a quick turn around and do your 3 treble crochets around that post. 1, 2, and 3. Keep it random. So I'm going to turn a little bit. So let's see where we're going. Just keep checking where you're going. I want to go up that way. So I'm at this cross section here. I'm going to put a stitch into there. Don't be frightened about twisting it around and bringing your yarn the other way. It won't make much difference. And it helps you just to wriggle around. So I'm going to put 3 across that post. And that's all you do with this. You just sit and you wriggle around, putting in this frill. It's like a frill stitch. You're making it all frilly. Now I've got my corner section here, so I'm just going to come across to this one, and I'll work along this way. 2 and 3. I'll work back that way, just randomly going around my posts. really wriggly. We're just going to wriggle. I'll show you that. Look what it looks like. It's really pretty. We're just going to wriggle away around. I'll wriggle along, wriggle down, wriggle along, and just fill in all my grid. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a bit more, and I'll come back and show you what it's like. So this is what I've got done on my little wriggle blanket, and you can see it's actually stretching my little mesh out a little bit, but don't worry about that at all. And I've just been randomly going down along and along this way. It's been going across that way, down that way, and just all around the place, and it just all wriggles inside each other like that. Don't do the same way too much. I'm going to start going across the way for a little while, and then I'll change direction. So this is my, look at this. Look how wide this has gone from that mesh. It's stretched itself out about, I would say, another extra 5 inches or 6 inches or so. This is absolutely amazing. Now, even though I've been telling you this is like a wriggle blanket, this is more like a wriggle rug. It's going to be beautiful as a rug if you want to make this as a rug. The thing that I will say is, you can either use or you can sew on some non-slip matting, like the rug matting that goes underneath your rug to stop it moving. But I would use this as a pram topper. There's too much yarn in it to put this on a very small baby. I wouldn't use this over a very small baby, but a toddler for a snuggle blanket, it's brilliant. For a play mat on the floor, it's absolutely amazing. Look at this. Now, the one I saw being made was just a little trivet size to put, like to sit pots and maybe like your hot dishes out of the oven to sit on. But that's the ones that I saw. But it's so beautiful as a larger sort of blanket. Now, what I've been doing with it, I'm going to show you. And I've got my blanket finished, and remember what I said, you can see I've just wriggled here, wriggled there. I didn't go up and down. I didn't go back and forward, back and forward. I went sort of sideways. I went that way, I went that way, and I went that way. I just went all around the mesh, just worked my way down doing treble crochets, UK treble crochets, and that is a USA double crochet. I put 3 into each section. On the cross sections of the mesh, quite a few of them, I've put a stitch in there. It helps you to turn if you put a stitch into here. You can see some of them where I've put a stitch in. It helps you to turn your blanket. That's what that side's like. Now, all I did all along the edge is I've put a UK double crochet in. That's a USA treble. That's a USA single crochet. I put 3 in to each section. If 3 is too much for your mesh, I don't know how big your mesh part has turned out. You might only need 2. Some of them you might need 3. As long as you've got roughly the same amount of stitches. And where am I? Wait till I find my end. Now I'll show you what I've done. That's where I started. I started and I just worked my way. I had it facing this way. I had it facing this way, and I just put in a double crochet all along the edge. You can see it there. I've put a double crochet in, and that's going to give me a little basis to do a border. I've worked my way all around. I put some 3 extra around the corners. So I did my 3, I put 3 extra, and then I did 3 down that way in the corner of the mesh. That's my little mesh corner. And I can't tell you exactly how many stitches to do for this. You'll just have to judge it. So I've just been working along with it facing this way, facing me. This is double knitting yarn. So if you've got a couple of balls of yarn that you don't know what to do with, try making one of these. These would be beautiful in the nursery as well. You can make it much bigger and do it as a mat beside your bath as well. Now all I done was I had it facing this way, and I just push my hook through, and I just done a UK double crochet. This is a single crochet if you're in the USA. Just 3 into that section, go along to the next section, just find your next section and just put some stitches in. Put some stitches in along there. And I'm just going to put treble crochets onto the top of this. I'm going to keep my border very basic. I'm just working my way along. And there, just keep going along. So I'm just working 2 or 3 into each section of my mesh. So I'm right at the beginning, and I'm just going to slip stitch and join that round, and that's it. So your blanket, you'll have to judge how many to put around. I don't know how big your squares are, so I'm putting 3 into mine. If there's any of them that look a little small, I'm just putting 2 in. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. So into every stitch I'm going to put a treble crochet. That's a UK treble crochet, 1 into each stitch all the way around. So I'm going to do that all the way around. That's going to give me a little edge on my blanket. So this is my wriggle blanket. I've got one round. I did that double crochet round, and I've put 1 round of treble crochet on there. Look at that, it is so pretty. This wriggle blanket is quite large as well. Now when I showed you the mesh at the beginning, look how much it's stretched out. It has stretched out, and it's absolutely beautiful. Now that's the bottom of it. I'm going to do a couple of more rows because I've got the wiggle on the top of it. I'm just going to do the border plain. I'll put another 2 rows on with the UK treble crochet. If you're in another country that's a double crochet, you can do your border any way you like. You can put your round of double crochets on. If you're in the USA, that's a single crochet, and then you can do one of the borders from any of my other videos on it. Is my wriggle blanket all finished? I put some white ribbon. I done 1 row of a UK double crochet, then I done 3 rows of treble crochet. If you're in the USA, that's 1 row of single crochet and 3 rows of double crochet, and into the middle row I just threaded some white ribbon like this, and I put a bow on it, and this is what my blanket looks like. Now I wouldn't, like I said already, I wouldn't use these on very young children. Very young babies can't regulate their heat. So I wouldn't put something like this on a newborn baby. It would have to be babies that are older than 6 months or so. But also, if you make a larger one of these, you could make this into a rug. It's really, really pretty as a rug for a bedroom as well. I've got it kind of squint up here with my ribbon, but it's really pretty. And that little mesh that I had, this is what it stretched out to be. When you put this on, it stretches your mesh out really nice. This is the back of it. This is what the back looks like. And this is the front of my wriggle blanket. Now you should give this a try. If you've got odd balls of yarn, then give us a try and make it into a rainbow one. And like I said before, just go willy-nilly all around your mesh. Just go around and back. If you get to a dead end, then just do one chain and then just hop over. Just hop over, hop around, move all around it. Every now and then in the middle, I just put a stitch in the middle, the corner, in the crossover part of the joint. I did that just to help hold some of the stitches and help me get around about the blanket. And that is all I did to make this a wriggle blanket. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. It came out looking absolutely amazing. And like I said already, you can make wriggle rugs. I love that word, wriggle rug. So you can make them into rugs for nurseries, for your bathroom, even your bedroom. You can make nice, great big long ones for along the side of your bed as well. So it's up to you. So thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Just click on that subscribe button, and if you click on the bell icon, then YouTube will notify you when I put up another tutorial. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.